BG has dunked on like multiple people.
Do you have a brief history for us?
I do. It's funny you ask. I actually have a provide a brief history of WNBA players who have already dunked on. It's so funny you said that. Welcome back, everybody. You know who it is. It's just your biggest Knick fans ever. Knicks go up 3-1. Let's go. We couldn't watch the game. We had a birthday dinner to go to. It's really the only, I feel like it's the only reason that is acceptable.
It's the only acceptable
to miss
reason.
the Knicks in the playoffs. They're up 3-1. This is very exciting. By the
bang
time
bong.
this comes out.
Is that what you're supposed to say?
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to him.
Bang bong.
It's more like a bing bong.
Bing bong.
I'm very excited. It's looking good. We're going to know. Honestly, this comes out on Thursdays. It's Tuesday right now. So we're going to know. We're going to know what happened up there in Boston on Wednesday night once this is released. Obviously, it came with some sad news as well.
Really sad.
We don't know for sure, but it did look like Jason Tatum tore his Achilles.
I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are really good at diagnosing these things from the television. Plus, you're in that elite club.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. I'm
What'd
in
you think?
that very special unwanted club. You just knew right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're in the middle of an action that is a bouncy action and all of a sudden it takes that 1 second longer, it's because it's gone. Yeah. Really sad. He obviously, my first reaction was like, oh, he's really like writhing in pain. But when we were talking about it, I think he's just like devastated and scared. Yeah. It's really, honestly, when I tore my Achilles, I was like, are you serious? I was leaving. Like, I'm done. I'm 38. I'm done. I'm leaving. So I was more just like, this is ridiculous. I didn't have the like scared feeling at all. What does this mean?
Career?
Jason's in the middle of his career. He's in the middle of his prime. I'm sure all of that is going through his head. It sucks. He'll be fine. And, the surgeons and the medicine and the rehab, everything is so good now. We've obviously seen a bunch of athletes come back and be totally fine, but it just is sad.
Yeah, it did take us both back to, we've had so many injuries, sadly, throughout the course of our career and so many surgeries, sadly. But it does, at some point, after going through it over and over, you do get a little, not numb, because I think initially I know for me, every time I'm at the office, like at the hospital about to get the surgery, there's a moment of like, fuck, I gotta do rehab after this.
Yeah.
The dread does set in, but you're a little more accepting, I think, when it's your like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time.
Well, you're just like wise to the ways. You like know what's coming.
Right. But as we were talking about this, just like in prep for today's show, we both kind of shared like the first time. Like we talked about this last show, 1998. I first tore my ACL.
The year.
We know what the first question was.
It was 2 score ago.
But I remember the moment where I got my MRI, the results came in, the doctor, confirmed. And the first thing he said then was, I think you should call your parents. And it wasn't until I called my parents that all the emotion and all the fear and it all kind of became real. And I can actually, we almost started crying in the car right over here.
I almost got emotional talking about this right now.
I could like viscerally feel, like remember what that felt like that first time. So I don't think Jason has had up until now as serious of an injury as this one. So I think that's what we were seeing.
Yeah. Oh, scary. Yeah. We totally wish him the best. Jason, I can send you my Amazon cart. That was the prep cart for an Achilles surgery. You need the scooter, obviously. You need the big wheels. You need the mobber wheels on the scooter. You might have to get even an XL one. I don't know the situation there. You need a basket in the front. You need a wedge for your bed. You need
a shower stool.
A shower stool.
The little like condom thing that goes over.
You need the leg condom thing. You need to order extra chapstick, water bottles, all the things that you need to have so you don't have to get up off the couch ever or have Sue get up off the couch for you.
I'm like, you didn't get up. What do you mean? You weren't allowed to get up off the couch. I know. I'm like,
Oh,
Jason,
babe.
have all your family members call me.
Yeah.
I'll give them the tips
Yeah.
on how to, break the scooter down, which I didn't learn till the end. Devastating for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough.
But yeah, definitely sending all the healing vibes.
Yeah,
Megan,
all the
I'm
good
also
vibes.
sending you some healing vibes. Megan had a little bit of an injury this weekend. Would you like to share?
You guys.
Not quite as serious, but
Not as serious. Could have been. Felt
could have
like
been.
it.
Yeah. The reaction made me think it was serious.
Okay, so I'm coming off of my period, which all of a sudden certainly the last year, my entire period takes place in my right hip and lower back. The whole thing. It's like
You are almost 40.
the whole party is happening in that hip and in that lower back the whole week. It's honestly kind of alarming. And then I traveled. I had to do like a quick trip to Seattle. So it was like, of course, my back is going to be acting up then. And then I got back and, I wasn't doing my stretching and I did a run, whatever. Did some
You're
stuff.
feeling a little tight.
I was feeling
off.
tight, but I was like, this is going to be fine. I even went to my trainer, Kyle, and I was messing with my back. And he's like, would you like me to do anything in there? I'm like, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm at the breakfast counter. We're chatting to the nieces. I am slightly turned. I'm talking a few degrees turned. I'm looking at the Premier League game. I go to sneeze. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the sneeze into a seize, but it's a thing. My whole lower back.
It was a powerful sneeze.
I am a powerful sneezer.
I had my back to you and I was like, whoa.
It was like, achoo, oh my God. Literally. But
It was
a couple of years ago, I had a wild seize up in my back that had me literally horizontal for 4 days. So immediately I was like, I crawled to the ground, got in my cat cows, got it moving. You cannot let your back sit still. It's totally counterintuitive. It's still sore today. We had all the things. We had muscle
We do have
relaxers.
all
We
the
had
things.
stem power dots. We had Mendy stick. My sister's old company was like a CBD stick. I was doing cat cows. I was getting it moving. I had Tylenol. We were on it. It's still a little bit sore.
You didn't mix the Tylenol with the muscle relaxer though, right?
Of course I did.
No, you're joking.
No.
Can you? I think you
Those
actually
are
might be able to
soft
mix
suggestions. Those are suggestions for people who have never taken all of those things together. If you've had surgery this many times,
no.
you've taken all of those
I actually do
combinations.
think you can take those together, but don't quote, nobody quote any of this. Do not follow these instructions.
It's called Megan MD, okay? And it's not
But you do
regulated
have
at
to
all.
follow what's on the bottle. You can't have grapefruit juice. That's a big no-no. I know that much. It's true. It's on the bottle
Oh,
for a lot of these medications.
We got Nancy Bird to thank for all of this.
What, reading the bottle?
For all of this hysteria around health and safety.
Oh. Well,
Anyways,
my period doesn't live in my back. That's all I know. So
well, you're lucky. My God, I hope that goes away soon, along with the whole thing. But
oh man.
anyways,
Also in the news, the Mavs got the #1 pick.
you guys make it make sense. I saw I saw this this meme or whatever that was basically it was let Nico Harrison not pick Cooper Flagg, and that would be the funniest thing ever.
That's obviously not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Poor Cooper was getting interviewed and they kept being like, oh, the Mavs, #1 pick, you're going to go there. Essentially saying that. And he just bobbed and weaved and avoided it.
I know.
He had that PC thing going, which I respect.
I don't know if I'm going to be the number one pick.
Just enjoying the process like
Yeah.
everyone else.
So is the NBA rigged?
What? The script is scripting? How is it rigged if they get it? I don't get that.
I
I don't
know.
get that narrative.
I love how
But maybe
people,
there's
this
something I'm
happens
missing.
at all levels of conspiracy. It's simultaneously the people in power are the most incompetent people, and also they're rigging everything. And I'm like, make that make sense.
Yeah,
You
which
can't,
one is it?
Which one is it? You can't be the most incompetent
Well, I just
person
don't
in the
get how
world and
them
rig
getting
the
it.
entire system.
I just don't get how them getting it is a rig. What makes it rigged? Because they traded Luka, it's rigged for. I just don't get it.
Yeah, basically it's they did.
Who's
They did the
trying to
dumbest thing ever, and now it's oh, that's why we did it because we knew we were going to get the first pick. When it's no,
But
you
why
got
does everyone
so
want them to
lucky.
have the first pick. I feel like it'd be
They
the
got
opposite.
so lucky.
Maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah. So Congrats to them.
Yeah.
I
hey,
mean,
I tell you what, they needed it.
Kyrie comes back, AD comes back, like meaning healthy.
Yeah.
And,
they all right.
what?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Sue, you added a new little job.
Yeah, just a little one.
Just a tiny little job to your resume.
Speaking of GMs.
Speaking of
Just a
making all the
small
most
little job.
important decisions, Sue Bird is the new managing director of USA Basketball women's team. We're going to get into all of that later. But me personally, I'm very excited about this for me and us. For you. Mostly for you. How are you feeling about it?
We'll get into it later.
Okay. All right. We're also prepping for house guests.
Yeah, your mom.
Mammers and
your
sister coming.
Aunt, sister.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Aunt/sister.
Yeah, my aunt/sister. It's my sister and my mom's sister.
Sissy.
Sissy. Yeah. Her name's Sissy. Her nickname's Sis.
I love
She's
the
my
name
sister.
Sissy,
She's also
by the
my
way.
aunt. It's my mom's youngest sister. My mom is the second oldest of 8. Sissy is the youngest of 8. Their parents tragically died, or very sadly died when Sissy was like
11, I think.
8, 11. And so my mom actually raised
8,
her
11.
from that time. I wasn't born until Sissy was 16. So it's like she's my sister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited to have them come.
Can't wait. I think they both have been to New York before, but Sissy has not been for a very long time. So we're pumped to show her around. Of course, my mom has been here. I think the last time she came, though, was when she was taking care of me for my Achilles.
Yeah.
And so she was much more on house duty. So she has bought herself a new pair of walking shoes, and she was in the wrong size of walking shoes by a whole size for the her whole life. And so she's ready to pound this pavement. I'm excited. Bicker of the Week is back. And we have another ice cream controversy on our hands. And
Sue can't wait. Okay.
yeah, we're just going to say that. I don't think it's looking good for me.
It's a funny one.
I'm Megan Rapinoe.
And I'm Sue Bird. This is A Touch More. Let's get into it. First up, check-in. Start us off, Megan.
Like we said, we're going to get into it.
And now it's time to get into it.
And now it's time to get into it. Sue Bird is not only the managing director of USA Basketball, but she's the first reporting for duty, the first managing director on the women's side. Sue, explain the role, and let's talk about what this means for you and what this means for the team.
Yeah, I'm very excited, first and foremost. The role is pretty simple. It's basically a GM. That is like that's the easiest and most succinct way to say it. I will be choosing the coach, and that'll be the first thing that I do.
We're accepting
probably
applications.
in the next couple months to the fall, who knows. From there, there's like a coaching staff that'll have to get selected, but the coach obviously has input on that, so that's a little different. From there, I'll be choosing the players and the rosters. If we go work backwards, obviously LA Olympics. But before that, we have the World Cup. And before that, we actually have qualifying tournaments potentially.
World Cup
to
is
get to the
26 in Germany.
Yeah, 2026 in Germany.
26 in Germany, okay.
Yeah, and then we have like training camps and stuff. So putting together the pools of players for those. And then just, figuring it out as I go. Yeah, but I'm really excited. But that's basically the job. It's basically a GM. And yeah, the women never had like the one person. So the one managing director. They usually did it by committee, literally. But the men have had the managing director situation for forever. Grand Hill's in it now, so.
What made you want to do this? I mean, obviously we had a lot of conversations about this, but to be involved, we get asked, I feel like, by we, I mean Sue, gets asked weekly, would you want to coach? Do you want to be a GM in the league? Do you want to do that? Like anybody would take you on any of their staff at any time. Or any college, whatever, and you haven't wanted to. So what made this enticing to you?
So this is totally different because it's USA Basketball. It's representing your country. It's something I did for pretty much my entire career, 20 plus years. So to have the opportunity to be a part of that again, to rep your country again, to go to these big competitions again, albeit in a totally different role, a much more supportive role, was something that really excited me. I talked to Grant Hill a bunch, and he always talked about his experience and how the juices, right? Like those athlete juices. He's like, oh, the juices got flowing again. Yeah. So that excited me. And you know how it is. It's like you play a sport for so long, not that many things excite you in the same way.
Yeah,
So
nothing.
Yeah. So that was definitely attractive. But what I was about to say was this is totally different from definitely from coaching, but even GMing, even being in a front office of a team in a league, whatever it is, because you're just forming the one team. And everybody in the U.S. is eligible for it. And everybody, hopefully, wants to be on that team. Whereas, GM roles we'll use the WNBA as an example, you got to figure out salary caps and free agency. It's a lot more work.
It's a lot harder.
So even though the pressures of this position going into Olympics especially are off the charts in comparison,
of course,
to like a WNBA season, the work itself is pretty. It's just like this one lane that I have to be in, and so that's kind of like how it all came to be, I guess.
Are you not
a knack?
Gonna be wearing the red polo?
No, I don't want to wear polos. That was like honestly one of the first questions I asked.
You heard it
Do
here
I have
first.
to wear
Jim Tooley?
The USA? But no, they've been great. They've allowed me to wear my own clothes.
You
Anyone who
looked
saw
amazing on your media day.
Thank you.
Yeah, you looked great.
Yeah,
Shout
I didn't
out.
want to wear the polos. They make women wear these polos and khakis, and I'm just like, it's time to break free.
Absolutely.
So maybe, I don't know. But sometimes you do have to wear like team issued stuff. So I'll figure that out.
We need to get you a blazer with like the official patch, like they do in Europe. I think
Yeah.
those are fire.
Like your Martine Rose one?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
That's what we need
Summer
to do.
Olympics, though, it's hot.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a shorts suit.
Okay.
You're going to be
I'll
indoors.
roll it up.
It's the back
I'll
of
roll
all.
the sleeves up. That's
Yeah.
true. It's indoors. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Listen, I'm excited to be your head stylist for this job.
By the way, if I can go back for a second, the fact that the Olympics is in LA played a role. It's one of those, you know what it reminds me of? When I first decided and kind of said out loud that I was going to come back for the 2022 WNBA season, which ended up being my last. That was when we had been playing in Everett in 2021 because Climate Pledge Arena was being built.
So, yeah.
And we were going to open it in 2022.
Yeah.
And people were asking like, oh, how much of the arena is playing a role in your decision? And it was like, it's not playing a role, but it's not playing a role.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But
Totally.
it's not.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like about LA. It wasn't going to be the make or break. And the fact that it's in LA didn't make me do it.
Right.
But the fact that it's in LA
Fucking cool.
is kind of why I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
It's
like
awesome.
both and.
Yeah.
I'm just viewing it as this nice little cherry on top.
Yeah.
I would have done it regardless.
What excites you about actually being the one to pick the roster? Like pick the players?
Yeah. I just think I bring a really unique perspective. I've played with a lot of the players that are still currently options for the USA team. So I have that experience. I've just been around the game and around the USA basketball operation for so long. So I just know what it's like to be in a room with a locker room, in the sense, with 11 other players trying to win a gold medal, and you got to find your chemistry. You got to find a flow. You got to feel it out and see what
Put all the
works.
pieces together.
Yeah. So I have an understanding of that. One that, I mean, over the course of my career, I just refined as I went. And I had a better understanding as I went. So I just feel like I know what fits. I know what, style can lead to good chemistry. With that, there's a lot I don't know. And that's the beauty of USA basketball. I'm going to be able to lean on all the people who have been doing this for years and years and years to kind of fill in those gaps. So I'm trying to go in with like a confidence about what I do know, and then like a humility about what I don't know, and just stay open-minded there.
Who's the player people have been asking you about the most?
Honestly, the question I've gotten the most is like, is Megan going to help?
Yes, I am. I
Assistant
am going to
GM?
help.
Assistant
Thank
to
you.
the assistant to the assistant GM?
Yes, exactly.
No, people have joked around like, oh, I'm sure Megan's thrilled, which
I have a lot
she
of
is,
ideas that I've already shared with Sue.
which she is. I really didn't get a ton of questions about specific players. The only one I really got was about like the young players, right? Paige, Caitlin, those two probably the most. Just
Yeah.
like getting
Juju,
them
potentially.
Yeah, but just those two in particular, and then you could build it out. They haven't been in a senior national team camp yet, so the questions are really just like, oh, how quickly do you want to get them involved? And it's like, yeah, I want to get everybody involved ASAP.
Yesterday.
So first training camp,
Let's
go.
Who's the player I've asked you about the most?
Sarah Strong.
Love you, girl. Love you.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, my friends. Just for the record, Megan has no say whatsoever on any of the decisions that will be made. But we'll act like she does in this room and this room only.
Right. Exactly.
When you wear a polo, that's when you can have say.
Get me a polo. I mean, get me
I thought
a
you
polo.
wouldn't be caught dead. That's not the answer I was looking for.
Well, I wouldn't be caught dead unless I can make meaningful decisions, and if I
will say,
have to wear the polo for that.
On a more serious note, you do often talk about the ways in which, you talk about your experience with your national team and the ways in which you guys have just totally taken advantage and maximized your marketing ability, both of your as individuals, as players, like the commercialization of it all. So that is something you've talked about in regards to USA Basketball for our team too.
I don't know who you're going to introduce me to so I can have this conversation with them. I don't know who at USA Basketball, but I really want to make this pitch for exactly what you said. The commercialization of the women's USA
national team?
Yeah, USA. Why am I like blanking on how to say it? USAB? I feel like you guys
we'll say USAB,
Okay.
USA Basketball,
Yeah.
the national team, the Olympic team.
Anyways, the
WNT.
commercialization of this team. I feel like there's one major thing that's going to get in the way, and it's the men's team. Because on the men's side, like they probably just like aren't going to do that, and they don't really like need to do it, and they probably don't really like want to do it. And I feel like because it's sort of under one umbrella a lot of the times, and we've talked about this, the ways that the NBA are a blessing and a curse to the WNBA. I think there's a really cool and really important opportunity here, particularly leading into this home Olympics, where this national team can be used as, honestly, similar to the U.S. women's national team, the soccer team, as like the marquee team in the Olympics. And also, like, why not make money on it? Like, if I'm rocking up to this Olympics and I cannot find a Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson,
We don't know who's on the team yet,
Paige
Megan.
Beckers. If I can't find my
Player
Sarah Strong
A, B,
USA
C.
jersey,
Oh, God.
I'm going to be pissed. Like, that's a huge opportunity missed. This is an opportunity not only to make money, and however that gets split up. I don't know how it does, whether it's like some to the players, some to the organization, some goes to the W, some whatever. Some goes to like charity, youth programs, like, you know, obviously like the growth and development of girls playing basketball in this country, whatever. I don't know where it's going to go. But I think there's a huge opportunity for USA Basketball to use this as like a growth platform for women's basketball and for like the commercialization and the business of women's basketball, not just, you know, the Olympics in this country. So I just hope that happens. I think there's a really amazing opportunity. And then obviously it's a global game. So it's like there's been such a huge push on the NBA side for, you know, whether it be NBA Africa or NBA Europe. Maybe there's games that get played over there. Obviously the W is, the makeup is very international. There's a ton of international players that play. So I just think this is kind of like money sitting on the table that could be really cool and really like grow the sport in a huge way and just continue to set women's sports apart from men's sports and us doing what is best for us and our growth and the future of our sport. So
Yeah, I agree.
go ahead and pass that along at USAB.
You're hired.
But I just think that would be a really cool opportunity. And I know how much it's meant to the U.S. Women's National Team, not only commercially and financially for the players, but also just like the growth of the game, both here and abroad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I agree. I you know how I feel. I said this before I took this job. I've been saying this probably for the last like 6-7 months. I really believe that women's basketball, given where it is right now, the popularity, the notoriety, both for the league itself and the WNBA, but then the players individually, I believe that women's basketball is going to be the biggest story in LA. Like, hands down.
you heard it here first. You
I
already
really
heard it here.
do.
I
And
agree.
that's
I agree.
Yeah. And as far as this role goes, I know we're kind of joking about it. The best part, it's like an embarrassment of riches, all the talent that we have.
Crazy.
And then you combine that with all the things you just said, and I agree. There's definitely an opportunity from a business standpoint there.
Yeah.
Speaking of business, the Connecticut Sun are reportedly for sale. The WNBA franchise has hired an investment bank to explore the sale of the franchise, Sportico reported on Monday afternoon. A timeline for such a sale, or who it may be sold to, remains to be seen. I did see something where it's kind of sort of listed at potentially like 80 or so million for the sale. So that's interesting.
Do you think this team should move?
I don't know. I mean, like, this is one of those things where you have to pull back all the curtains, get a look at all the financials. What I can say is there is a scenario where, well, let me start with this. Mohegan Sun bought the team in 2003 from Orlando. So the Orlando Miracle essentially relocated to Connecticut. And it was perfect at that time. My class had just graduated in 2002. Connecticut Huskies, obviously, the UConn women's program has so much fanfare. Dee was still in college, and you could see it. We actually played the Sun. The Seattle Storm played the Sun in the finals in 2004, and you could see it. It was like it only holds 10,000, which is actually a really good size. It was full. There was a buzz. So in those early days, I think it made a lot of sense. And now where the league has gone, you fast forward, all those years, there's things like a practice facility, which they don't have. The location, Uncasville. Listen, I love Connecticut. I love Connecticut as much as the next person. It's hard to get to.
Yeah.
It can be tough. Yeah. I think as far as recruiting players, I would imagine it's a tougher sell nowadays, given where all these other franchises are going. Even the airports, to fly in and out of Hartford or in and out of Providence, it's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah.
And the way the WNBA schedule is, it's a lot of travel. So I think it's hard potentially to recruit players there. I'm just going out on a limb here. I've also heard wonderful things about the organization itself, how it's been run. Obviously, Jen Rosati is the president there now. I think they've done a great job with what they have. It's just, it brings up the question. And obviously, they're looking to sell, so they might feel the same way. Like, is it just time?
Yeah. Is it an optimized market?
Better way of saying it. Thank
Probably
you very much.
Not, but time will tell. It'd be really interesting to see where that valuation gets set as they head into the sale.
Boston. I think that's everybody's thought.
Yeah.
But you never know. There's so many. Philadelphia, Nashville. What was that last round?
Yeah.
There's so
5
many.
or 6 in there.
Yeah, so you never know.
Yeah.
It could stay Northeast. It could move on.
Yeah. Speaking of France,
love a good segue.
Don't you just love a really seamless segue?
Speaking of the East.
Speaking of
France is east of
us. Speaking of things east of us. Ale. Dominique Malonga arrives in Seattle.
She sure did.
She's dunking in practice.
She sure did.
This is what Rihanna Jackson said that she isn't scared of. So sure, I believe that. She also totally showed out and showed up in her versatility in the scrimmage against LA. I can't wait to get our little eyes on this Frenchie. Let's take a look.
Just some slight work.
Arrived and immediately started dunking. It looks easy.
It does look easy.
It looks easy.
Yeah, and she's still just like a baby.
It looks like she's
in her teens.
Gonna dunk on someone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that was exciting to see. Even the scrimmage footage was exciting. She did show a little bit of that versatility that you mentioned. But the Rihanna tweet, I want to go back to that for a second. I will say Rihanna did not say, for those who misunderstood, she is not scared of Dominique Malonga.
I would be.
She's not scared.
Okay.
But she is scared of the act of getting dunked on.
Which she's totally capable of. So I'm like, what is
But
it?
I get that. I do get the difference.
I get the difference.
I would also be scared. But then she went on to say, she doesn't want to be the first player to get dunked on in the WNBA. So I just got to say, Rihanna, you're safe because it's happened before. BG has dunked on multiple people.
Do you have a brief history for us?
I do. It's funny you ask. I actually have a provided brief history of WNBA players who have already dunked on. It's so funny you said that. I am ready for you. No, so there have been a ton of dunks. Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker a couple of times. BG, you can't even count at this point. I don't even know how many.
She's been dunking.
Awakuyer played for the Dallas Wings. She dunked. Actually, one of Candace's, I think one of BG's, and definitely a Walks because I turned it over and then she got that pick six action straight to the. Those were all against the Seattle Storm. Woohoo!
Woo! Yay!
Way to go, girls.
Go us.
Yeah, so there's been a ton of dunks. I'm probably missing some, but BG has definitely dunked on people. Emma Messiman got.
Tough.
Jennifer Hansen, who wasn't in the league very long, she got. She's like 6'8". Tak. So yeah, BG did dunk on us. Tak almost got. So Rakia, you're safe. You wouldn't be the first.
You wouldn't be the first, but you might be the next.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
And then, by the way, there's also been some All-Star game dunks, but I don't really count those. We like clear out and let people do it.
Clear the lane. I'm more excited when we start getting some alley-oops.
I know you've been waiting.
I'm a big fan of the alley-oops.
It originated in France. Alley-oop. I'm not joking.
Not really?
I did a whole episode on Sue's Places about it. Oh, so you watched them, did you?
Sure did. Loved them. No, I did.
Alley-oop.
Yeah.
With me.
Where Peyton throws it in the...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we have the acrobats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that.
So check it out, everybody.
All
Sue's
right.
Places.
All right. The W season is officially starting.
I know.
On Friday.
Crazy.
We're going to go to our first game on Saturday. The Liberty open up against the Aces. It's ring night. I can only imagine what the inside of Barclays is going to be like.
I can imagine what those rings are going to look like.
Yeah, they're going to be big.
Oh, my God.
Hopefully they look something like Claire's necklace that she wore to the Met Gala. That thing was unbelievable. I love emeralds. Wow.
The Storm Championship rings have emeralds in them.
Oh, I love an emerald. Oh, my gosh. We have our live show that night after the game in New York. I'm really excited about it. Babe, it's going to be our 40th show.
I know, we turned 40.
I know.
I can't believe it.
Thank you, everyone, for actually listening to us. I mean, I think you do. I mean, some people do. Yeah. My mom does for sure.
Your mom
she watches
does.
us on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's so
My nieces
cute.
are starting to learn how.
I know, and then
this
they're
week
only
they were
looking
like,
for
you talked about us last week.
Yeah, I'm like
live with it.
I'm like, you don't own your life. We own your life, and we own the funny things that happen in your life. But yeah, we're going into our 40th episode, which is crazy. That seems like a lot, and it went by really quick. And thanks everybody for the support. This week. Also, you are debuting Bird's Eye View.
That's the other job I added.
Yeah, that's the other job Sue added. The USA Basketball job is just like a baby job.
It's a role.
It's a role.
It's a role.
This is Sue's got another pod coming out, Bird's Eye View. We talked about last week. It's going to be like in-depth basketball analysis. Sue is sitting down with New York's own Sabrina Ionescu. Mm-hmm. You can find the link to the show's YouTube in our show notes. So subscribe so you don't miss the first episode. If you like our show, you're going to love Sue's. We're going to be kind of bouncing the ideas back and forth.
Because they're totally different.
Yeah, you're going to love it because it's completely different, actually. But you love Sue, and so you're going to love it. There's some soccer news.
There is some soccer
in
news.
the mix on a very scary, but it seems like Savy King is okay on this note, is in stable condition after collapsing during a match Friday night. Just obviously sending all of our best wishes and good vibes and healing and calmness to Savy. That is so unbelievably scary. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine being a player on the field. Obviously, the players... Lots of pictures coming out. The players just look shook and emotional. Shout out to the trainers and the first responders and everybody who obviously it's such an unsung hero position. It's for the most part, you hope you're not called into action. You hope you don't have to do any of this, but they were just right there. Obviously Savy is doing well. So just shout out to them. It feels a little cliche to say that they're unsung heroes, but they literally are. And saving people's lives. So just wanted to say that quickly. We hope she's okay emotionally, physically, mentally, all the things. It's a really terrifying incident, and just sending all the best to the whole team and the whole staff, because that's kind of an event that can shake you and stick with you. There was some controversy about whether the game should have continued or not. I think it was in the 74th, 75th minute. I'm trying to think if I've ever had definitely injuries I've had. I was in a game where Rachel Daly collapsed. It was in Houston, the heat of the day.
The heat, exhaustion.
Honestly, it's she was too hot. So she collapsed, but I think the game did continue after that. Maybe some injuries, some concussions have happened that have been pretty scary. But there is some controversy about that. But the game ended up continuing to play. maybe the league will revisit that policy after.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I'm actually sitting over here. I'm not sure. I feel like you could argue both sides of that. Like, why a scary moment? Like, sports isn't that important. Shouldn't we just like take a beat?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, there is something about she was okay, right? She was responsive, if I remember correctly. So then it's kind of like, okay, we have to like exhale and not move on, but like continue.
Yeah.
Because that's also good.
Yeah, a little bit like adjacent to our conversation of like, how much do you give to sports and how important is it? And what part of it takes precedent over all the other parts in your life? I mean, I would imagine it'd been difficult for the players to continue, and also kind of the only thing you want to do is just like continue and move on with it. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever experienced that. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think I have really either.
Just injuries,
not
just
like
like
that.
really bad injuries.
Yeah, there's been some.
Although one time I did see someone was concussed and they threw up. And that was kind of scary.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some like, where they get like rigid, like the rigor mortis vibes.
Yeah.
That's really scary. I saw an insane gash on a leg one time. Somebody's cleat just like, it just was like the right angle. It wasn't even like a bad tackle or anything.
Yeah.
The right angle, the right time. It was honestly about 4 inches long and about an inch deep in the top of the quad. It was the grossest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But anyways, NWSL power rankings are back out. I mean, it's really not that much different. I'm going to pull them up right now. Kansas City and Orlando are still pretty much fighting at the top. They have a big game coming up, which I want to ask you something in a second. They play on Friday.
A soccer opinion?
Yeah, I want a soccer opinion. 7:30 or 8:30 Eastern.
Wait, who does? Sorry.
On Friday, Orlando and Kansas City play. So it's kind of like an early season, but like a big matchup. Okay. The power rankings are what they are. I mean, honestly, the table's super tight. Kansas City's at the top with 18 points. Orlando's right under them with 16. And then it's like Washington's at 15. San Diego's at 15. San Diego's at 14. Angel City's at 14. Portland's at 13. Gotham's at 12. The Reign's at 11. It's just like everything is still really tight. I think those two at the top, Kansas City and Orlando, are the best teams for sure, and they're showing that. They both had some losses, some ties, or whatever. But to me, that's really just kind of like continuing to be the story. Everybody else is a little more inconsistent. Those two really aren't. Obviously, we'll continue to watch as the season progresses. But I wanted to ask you, so the big two, obviously, these two teams played, like in all the biggest matches last year. Obviously, Washington was in the final and not Kansas City. But these like huge matchups early in the season where it's like, listen, whatever happens in this game, like it doesn't really matter, but it kind of does. It kind of like, it matters so much. It's like an opportunity. It's not the first game of the season where it's just like, whatever. Everybody's got a little time under their belt now. I think they played 8 or 9 games. And it's like the first opportunity to like really flex throughout the season. It'll be one of those games where like you can look back on and be like, oh yeah, that's where we separated ourselves. What do you think of those games in a season? Do you remember playing those games? And do you remember how you like approached playing those games?
Yeah, I think you said it. It's like it has no meaning and then has all the meaning. And that's exactly how you approach it. It's almost when it's all said and done, if you've won, you're like, oh, that matters. And if you've lost, you're like, it's early. This is just a regular season game.
Frame it how you want.
We still, we just haven't peaked yet. Yeah. You can frame it however you want, and that's like literally how the aftermath goes. I think to answer your question, as a player, when you're approaching a game like that, for me, they were just like little bitty temp takers. We were just taking a temp. Let's see like what we really are, because the reality of leagues is there are at times like games that aren't as hard, and there are at times games that are more difficult. So if you have played kind of like the bottom half of the standings and you're going undefeated, you're like, well, what does that really mean? I'm not saying either of these teams have done that. I'm just saying there's always something to when you're playing, when a 1 seed is playing a 2 seed, that gives a little extra oomph. So I think going into the game, there's a little more focus. I've noticed in shoot-arounds, everyone's a little more, we're going against another big dog today.
Yeah.
How are we going to stack
ties
up?
a little straighter.
Yeah. So I think actually if I were to say it, it's like you're going in for me, I would go in like, all right, how are we going to stack up?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we were the 2 seed. Like, all right, they're the 1.
Mm-hmm.
How are we stacking up? And then you get to see where you're at.
Well, we were talking about this last night, actually, or the night before. We were watching a game, and maybe it was a preseason game. And we talked about how later in our careers,
Oh, yeah.
regular season games just sometimes are like, this is the worst thing ever. It's like, get in the playoffs, get in a meeting. But these games,
the game itself, you're
yeah,
fine.
but it's like all the monotony leading up to it, where you've played your 5,000th game in your career, and you're like, this is just another one of those games. These games, though, were like, anytime I played Portland, I'm like, oh, I am showing the fuck up today. Like, it just gives you, like, especially when you're a little bit older, or you're a team that has had a ton of success, or a team that's on a roll, it's like gives you a little something. It's just like exciting.
Did you ever feel, so I'm actually now realizing, now that we're settling into this question, I approach those games. So let's say whether I was the 1 or the 2 seed, I was approaching them like, let me see, I want to see where we're at in comparison to them. But I feel like there is another side of it of like, I'm going to send a message. Do you see the difference?
1,000%.
So which one are you on? I'm definitely like, I want to see what's up.
Oh,
I'm not thinking I want to send them a message. Not in midseason.
oh, I'm
I feel like
showing
you're a
up.
message
I'm
sender.
showing up in like a Clyde Frazier style suit and being like, I'm that bitch. That's how I'm showing up. That's the energy I have. I'm her, and I'm going to show you.
Okay.
And then, like, if it goes wrong, you're like, it's early. It doesn't mean anything. It's early in the season.
Circle back to everything we just
Circle
said.
back to everything we just said. But no, I'm definitely going into that like,
Are you putting the Clyde suit on after the game if you've lost?
yes,
Oh.
you have to.
Okay.
I'm not ducking no
you.
media. No. If you come in it, you got to leave in it. You got to belly up to it. But yeah, those are always like fun little ones. Just a little side note, a little extra time, something I have a little extra time for today, which I always have extra time for, is Alyssa Nair. She secured her 50th clean sheet in the NWSL regular season, just the second goalkeeper in league history to reach that milestone. So shout out, sis Liz. Love you so much. It's honestly so impressive because Alyssa has not always played on the best teams. That's the nicest way I can say it.
It's just getting like
She gets pounded and peppered. It's like insane. And so to have 50 clean sheets is really incredible. And Lissy's just like the best goalkeeper. So just love you so much and great job. And that's a huge accomplishment.
All right, we're bringing back Make It Make Sense, one of our newer segments for this week's Make It Make Sense, which is really just things that, we want people to make sense of.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Okay, so you agree with this one. This does not make sense. I want to know why soccer refs have to wear high socks. What is that? Can you make that make sense? They don't have shin guards. Do they have shin guards?
No, they don't have
Okay, they're not wearing shin guards. What's with the high sock?
I just feel like it is traditional. It's
I feel like this is going to come back to like the King of England or something.
Probably.
Yeah. Where it all began.
Yeah. It's like professional. There's like a level of like decorum to it. It is performative, obviously. They don't need those high socks.
Same with the linesmen.
They do need cleats.
Fair.
Which they wear.
Yeah, fair.
Because they are running really far and they do have to be agile. They run 6 to 8 miles a game. They run just as much as us.
You had no idea?
It's wild. Honestly, they be moving all over the place.
They
gotta get on the counterattacks. They gotta be fast. Like, it's a whole thing. Shout out to the refs. But
they have to stay like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not anonymous, but out of the way. They have to be like a ghost out there.
They have to be in the middle of the play, but not in the play at all times. And it is honestly amazing.
I do love watching when they try to like avoid the ball.
Yeah.
It's some of my favorites.
It is a skill. Like, honestly, the best refs, you don't notice that are there. Right. Obviously, the worst refs are in the spot where you want to go. You're like, bitch, I'm trying to get into that pocket. There's a reason it's open and I need to get in there and you're standing in it. You're blocking.
Well, good thing they have their socks on.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe part of it is like the lower leg. They have to wear like, the color that they're wearing signifies the other players. Maybe that's a little bit part. I don't think so. I think it's one of those things.
You know what? I'm open to that. I can entertain that.
A visual,
so if
visual
you're wearing
cue.
a white sock and the other team is wearing whatever.
Red.
A red sock. The ref has a black sock on. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
they
they do
mostly
wear
have
black
black
socks a lot.
socks?
Or they'll wear like a whole fluorescent. No, I think they normally wear black.
Wait, what
I actually
happens if
don't know.
another team wears black?
Well, they got to wear a different color then. The refs are in
you
like
sure?
a very,
I'm looking this up.
yeah, the refs are in like a very,
Soccer
like
ref uniform.
like a color that's like wow, why can't I say this? They're in a very different color, obviously, than the other teams. And something that's not going to blend. And I do think they take into account color blindness.
Most of these have black.
Yeah, I think they wear a lot of black. I don't think a lot of teams wear a lot of black socks.
Okay. Because what I was going to say is, okay, I could see a scenario where the black sock indicates ref. And maybe if it was skin, like no sock, or like a little bit of sock, got an ankle sock or something, where skin, someone, a player, you could just see skin and not realize it's not someone on your team.
Well,
Which
some
doesn't
players,
really make sense, but I'm just trying. It's a stretch. But
some players who have absolutely no uniform sense
No,
wear
they're
really low socks and leave like almost their whole calf out.
yeah. So maybe if you
shade
can't
to
see
those
it,
players,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So maybe there's something like that. But honestly, I just feel like it's one of those things that like,
I'm only
I
seeing
don't know,
black
why do
socks.
basketball refs wear slacks?
Good question.
Trousers, if you will.
I know, but high socks is like not. I mean,
know,
they have
it's so-
pants on. You know what I mean? Like the sock is like this accessory that doesn't need to be up to your kneecap.
If you're a ref, we're gonna need you to call into the hotline and explain.
I'm so thankful
Why?
basketball refs wear pants. I can't imagine them in shorts. That'd be so weird.
I know. We have to see refs' knees, and I'm like, what's happening? What's even going on there? Let us know in the comments on YouTube or online or whatever, wherever you do all your things. But I think it's just kind of like one of those things,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
It's
It's
one
just
of
I
those
wonder.
things.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is, can we go back to the day? It was probably like I said, 1892, where they're like, you need to pull those up.
You know what?
Yep, I'm gonna need you guys to pull those up.
Pull that up. Pull that up. We're going to need you to get your uniform on to play in this game.
All right, moving on to the intersection. This week, we're going to be talking about beauty brands and how they are entering, finally, in a really wonderful way, the women's sports space. Fenty announced a partnership with the New York Liberty, which is going to be, you're going to see it all over the place. Might even be on their warm-ups or uniform. Really, really cool. We've obviously seen that support with L'Oreal. Glossier has been with the WNBA for a couple years now. Sephora's in the mix. Elf. I mean, there's tons, but it is still only within the last like couple years or so that we're seeing it. And we've discussed, I definitely want to hear your thoughts. We've discussed how this was like a match made in heaven. And for years prior to this, we were like, where are the beauty brands? Why aren't they getting in women's sports?
I mean, listen, the cost of biases and sexism is high. I feel like that's part of it. I think beauty brands have traditionally been like a non-sport, for lack of better, but like women outside of sport, and kind of just like ignored this huge population of people who A, use the products, and then A, have fans who look to them to signal like where they're getting their products from. First of all, it's just like especially if you're playing an outdoor sport. I mean, we're talking like tinted moisturizers and sunscreen, and a lot of women, you know, wear makeup while they're playing, or wear some kind of, whether it's like lashes or actual like makeup. Some people have shown up full face. I mean, I never did that and never got that, and it always got all over the jerseys, but that's totally fine. But a lot of women do that, and they want that, and they like that. I feel like this is, I guess we don't need to like relitigate the past. It's annoying that they haven't gotten into sports before this, but I love this move.
I love it.
This is like amazing role models. I think it's like sends a really positive message. These women are out there like for fans and for young girls. If these companies want to market through the players, these women are out there being great role models. They're out there like doing the thing that they love. They're out there like using their bodies. They're out there being beautiful in a myriad of different ways, and all different types of people across like sexuality and across gender and across race and everything. It's just like an incredible opportunity for beauty brands to root themselves in something like really good and really progressive, and also just like this huge growing business that is women's sports. And then obviously who's watching, and then you can speak to them. So I love it so much. And I'm really excited that more brands are getting involved. And of course, like one of the coolest ones is partnering with the Liberty, and we're never getting music from Rihanna again. Your thoughts, Sue?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what's really most interesting is over the course of probably since my retirement, you go to different conferences or summits and you're on panels and you're asked this question a lot. And I've heard a lot of current players get asked this question. If there was one brand you could work with, what would it be? If there's one category you wish would get into women's sports, what would it be? And I would say almost like categorically across the line, it's been beauty brands. For a lot of these athletes, that's been their answer. So to finally see that happen is really cool. And you already touched on it, but what women's sports gives is like just this like huge spectrum and like a palette, like
range
that all of these beauty brands can play in. You already talked about all the differences and again, the spectrum that is women's sports, and you get to see it like in motion. Right? Like maybe it's, the products people use in their hair. You already mentioned what people might use on their face or their bodies. And it's like really happening. And then, of course, you have all the numbers and the statistics that point to what happens when you partner up with athletes, partner up with women's sports. Just the brand loyalty from fans is through the roof. So this is amazing. Feels like a no-brainer. And welcome.
Welcome to this beautiful space, Beauty Brands. Fun. We're happy to have you.
The Bicker of the week. It's the Bicker of the week. When your partner's being sleek, it's the Bicker of the week. Yeah. Well, I don't want to lead the witness. Let's just get into it.
We're on to the section you all know and love. It's a Bicker of the week. This one was called out in real time and immediately.
It was quite literally the first thing I said after
the incident,
the transgression occurred. I went, this is a Bicker of the week.
Okay. I don't know if we've already said this in the pod. I can't remember. But Salt and Straw. We know her. We love her. We've been eating Salt and Straw for over a decade. It started in Portland. It's been in Seattle forever. This is nothing new.
Pacific Northwesterners, it's like Salt and Straw. It's normal.
But apparently it's new here. There's one in the West Village. And it is a popular spot. We have to go and wait in line. And it's like a whole ordeal. But the pistachio is so good. I'm just like, it's better than Van Leeuwen. Sorry. It is. And we went there the other day. I never want what Sue has. Sue never wants what I have.
We couldn't be more. Megan likes sherbet.
Okay, I haven't gotten sherbet in a long time, but I do.
You listed as your favorite. What's your favorite ice cream? Sherbet.
I do like sherbet.
Orange.
no, pistachio. Anyways, we don't even like the same ice cream, so it's actually perfect. But sometimes we want a little nibble of the other person's.
And Salt and Straw, for those that haven't been, they do unique flavors. Like you didn't just get pistachio; it's pistachio with ricotta cannoli.
It's so good.
And I didn't just get
everywhere.
Like chocolate brownie. It's like chocolate gooey brownie, which is pretty basic. But
with like peanut butter.
They don't have cookies and cream, so I just want the record to show that's why I don't get that. I go to my next chocolate gooey brownie.
Anyways, so I want to try Sue's, and I ask for a bite.
No, a bite.
I asked.
Why are you're telling this so?
Okay, you tell it, because I'm a bad story. No, you tell it. Go. Lay it out from here. I've laid out the
So
scene.
We're walking out of the store, and we're both, we actually got waffle cones, and we'll tell you why. This might be a hack. We got regular cones last time we did this. And just like one scoop. And it felt like a kid. Honestly, we had finished by the time we exited.
It felt like a kiddie scoop. And
it felt like a small
scoop. Allow that to happen
And then I was watching people walk out with their waffle cones. And I was like, I think you get more ice cream if you order it on a waffle cone.
It's like, you don't want 2 scoops. That's just like egregious. That's so much.
So we both got waffle cones. And there was a lot of ice cream in there. It was great.
Yeah.
And waffle cones kind of like sits just right above the cone. Not super high. I'm going to give you, not super high, but right above the cone. So I'm doing my thing, licking my cone. Megan's doing her thing. She says, oh, can I try yours? I said, yeah, for sure. She takes the cone out of my hand. She proceeds to lick and then take a bite out of the cone. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm still speechless. And I just said, oh, Bicker of the week. I can't wait. And you're going to lose. I can't wait.
Okay, my rationale...
What does it even matter? That is unbelievable. That's like you broke every rule, every unwritten rule of ice cream licking.
I knew I was being a bad girl when I did it, but
I heard, I was like, the integrity of my cone was ruined. I was playing catch up the rest of the time. I had to bite and lick in places I wasn't ready to do yet.
it fucked up your strategy.
Yeah. It was dripping down the side. You messed up the whole thing.
Okay. My strategy and my rationale was that
Oh, it was so funny.
I wasn't gonna get what I needed out of the taste by just licking it once. And then if I started doing multiple, you weren't gonna be happy with that. So I said, let me just bang this out. Let me get a bite. Let me get some cone because that's part of the experience. And let me just one bite.
I have an alternate theory.
You were so mad.
I'm pretty sure you were digging for brownie. I think you went teeth first, looking for a chunk of brownie and happened to catch some cone. No, you definitely did the cone on purpose. I think you were looking for a chunk of brownie.
Teeth first.
You did go teeth first. It had
I
the
did.
2 little marks on it.
I got in there.
I couldn't believe it. Bicker of the week, y'all.
I can take the L on this
The rest of
one.
the 10-minute walk, I was just in shock.
Do share your thoughts with us. Please give us a call at 1-833-a-touch-8 to share your thoughts on our Bicker of the week. You can comment on YouTube or on all the platforms. Yeah, tough one. Mostly for your ice cream cone, but for me also.
Too. Yours was good.
It's really good. It has so many good chunks
and
in
I will
there.
say, I know when I licked, I could feel the chunks on my tongue, but I didn't bite.
Should have.
Yeah, next time.
That's nice of you, but maybe too nice.
It's so funny. I was cracking up. Oh, we didn't even tell the story about the guy who was, the line's 45 minutes long, y'all. Actually, this time it was probably more like
25.
30, yeah. He came in hot. He goes, I'll pay anybody $5 to let me cut. $5. Nobody budged. And then he goes,
$5.
I'll go up to 10. That's my final offer.
$10.
Nobody
Please.
budged. And as he leaves,
He's loud.
He's
too.
loud.
He was loud.
He disrupted the whole situation.
Yeah, everyone was like, we've been waiting in this line for 25 minutes. It's going to take a lot more than $5 or $10 freaking dollars.
Yeah, nobody moved. And then as he's leaving, we catch eyes, we lock eyes, and he goes, double take. Sue?
Louder.
Yeah.
He was like, Sue? Sue? Bird?
And I was like,
And I literally did Homer Simpson. I was like, nightmare. Turned around. I turned around. I said, nightmare.
yeah. He goes, do you remember? I kind of remember what he said. He was basically like, I don't watch you, but I know you could beat me one-on-one, and I respect that.
Yeah. I don't watch or anything. And we were like, even worse. Okay.
But I know you could beat me one-on-one, and I respect your game. That's what it was.
I did respect that.
Yeah, and I respect your game. And then he walked out.
And then he just walked out.
I was like, well, do you want to cut now?
Yeah. And now it's just like everybody in Salt and Straw is like
staring.
Who's
like,
Sue?
Yeah.
You know? Like it's just the whole scene.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Even
I
when
forgot
when
about
we checked
that.
out, when we were paying, the guy was like, what did that guy say to you? I was like, oh, he just wanted to cut. He was willing to pay me $5.
Oh my god.
But then it got us talking. How much? How much would you take to let someone cut? How much would you offer? I would have came in hot with like,
okay, what I'm doing
20?
is like, yeah, I'm coming in
it's
high,
like no for
I'm
an
getting
answer.
it up. And then like I'm using that money to then pay for as many people's ice creams as possible because it's like
that's the move. Let me
that's
cut
the
and I'll
move.
pay for your ice cream. That's the move.
wait, what?
I think that's the move. Don't put like a $5, $10, $20. Be like, if you let me cut, I'll pay for all your ice creams. So if you're with 2 people, 3 people.
Yeah, that's the move. But then how many people do you go into the line? How far back into the line you go?
No,
'Cause
no,
it's
just
like,
the people you're cutting.
But it's like you're really cutting everyone.
So
Yeah. Honestly, I don't like that move. At the airport, if you're going to miss your flight, you can cut the line.
have you ever had to do that? I had to do it
Oh,
once.
yeah. It's
I had
a
to go
nightmare.
to the front. And I
sorry.
was like, I have an announcement.
I'm late for
I'm
my
flying
flight.
to Australia, and if I miss my connection.
Flight's not till tomorrow night. Yeah. That's the,
I only had
otherwise
to do it
cutting
once.
line.
No, nightmare.
No, nightmare.
I appreciated his, He would only go up to 10. That's where you do the line, folks.
The best part, he was so loud and obnoxious, and then all of a sudden it was just like,
So?
It's like nightmare. Jesus Christ. Get me out of here. Put a hat on or something. You get recognized so much. It's crazy.
Sunglasses, boom.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny.
So funny.
Oh
Okay.
gosh, what do you have? What a
We have
touch
a
more
touch
do you have
more.
for us today, Sue?
Just a touch more, a little bit. Just a touch more.
Yeah.
What do we
Before we
got?
head out, we have a touch more. UConn softball is headed to their first NCAA tournament
Gang.
in 24 years.
Let's
the last time they
go.
went was when I was in school,
Wow.
2001. Yeah.
Wow.
They did it by winning the Big East tournament, but they did it with a 12-run inning, which is crazy.
God.
They won that game 18-4. Big East champs for the 8th time in program history. Like I said, first time since 2001. And shout out to Peyton Kinney. She was the most outstanding player of the tournament.
I love that.
Get it, ladies. Get it, Huskies. So they're headed off to the NCAA tournament.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just have a
And we
couple.
got some baby news.
Yeah, some baby news. A bunch of baby news, actually. Courtney Vandersloot and Allie Quigley, WNBA stars, welcome their first baby together. They are, quote, over the moon. Love that for them. So excited for them. Mal and Dansby Swanson, my former teammate, not Dansby, I didn't play baseball, but Mal, announced their pregnancy on the heels of Sophia and her husband Michael announcing their pregnancy. So that's fine. They'll be back by 27. It's like not an issue at all, but really congrats to them. So happy for them. Can't wait to meet the little nugget. And not baby news, but Katie Ledecky breaks her own 800-meter freestyle record with a time of 8 minutes, 4 seconds, and 12/10 of a second.
Yeah, I added the tenths. Are you going to read this next line? Okay, go ahead.
No, go. I mean, obviously, get in.
Well, because I wrote this.
Yeah.
So listen to this.
And this is the first time I've read it. So.
Yes. So she broke the record, which was previously one that she set in at the Olympics in Rio with 8 minutes, 4 seconds, and 79 tenths. Is that how you read that?
Yeah.
She broke it with 8 minutes, 4 seconds, and 12 tenths.
Got it. Okay.
And that's considered a significant improvement.
Really?
I was like, I don't even know how to like calculate that. So from the
6/10 of a second?
I don't know.
Ish?
How do you say it? I
Don't
know the
make me do
language.
math. You know, I get really
Whatever, from the
embarrassed.
79 down to the 12 on the tenths is a significant improvement. That's crazy.
That's wild.
That feels really small.
That feels like it's
Feels
just like your finger was like not totally straight and then you straightened it out.
Yeah.
And then you hit the wall
And then
quicker.
you hit the wall quicker.
That's what that feels like to me.
And
So
that's a significant improvement.
Wow.
So it's like I thought it spoke to just how like the margins are so small,
Mhm.
but also how crazy impressive that is that she did that. I mean, that was 2016, the Rio Olympics.
I know to do that
So it's
like
9 years later.
Yeah.
That's when we met.
that is when we met.
So to do that 9 years later and have a significant improvement, I thought was incredible. So I wanted to highlight that.
Amazing. Shout out Katie Ledecky. Freaking world's greatest. Unbelievable. And this just leads us right into International Water Safety Day, which is May 15th, just for everybody. It's a day dedicated to educating people, especially youth, on how to stay safe in and around water and pools and lakes and all the things. So shout out to
I know,
International.
you've seen those videos where they just like throw the infant in the water.
It's wild. And they flip over on their own.
Whoa.
In their jeans, in their little baby jeans. It's crazy.
What?
It's so
Their
cute.
baby jeans.
Just if a baby falls in their jeans, they need to know how to flip over.
Why? I don't get the jeans.
Because they're
part.
not in their swimwear. It's an accident. They're walking around. They're in their little
They're an
baby
infant.
jeans. Yeah, that's why they're baby jeans.
Why are they walking? How are they walking?
Well, they're a toddler maybe.
Are you being serious? You've seen videos where they actually have jeans on,
Yes.
and that's the point?
That's the point, is that you need to be able to get thrown in the pool in all of your stuff and like be able to flip over and survive until the adult who's supposed to be watching you comes and gets you out of the pool. Anyways, water safety is very
I know
important.
you take it very seriously.
Yeah, I do take it
No,
very seriously.
It is very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. That's it. That's it for our episode, everybody. We will see you next week.